What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris Man. I'm here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Monday, June 16th, 2025. Again, my name is Chris Drummond. I'm a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's coming on with me today as she is a sports director and has been so for multiple years. She's also worked at Troy University, where she got her undergrad and her master's degree. Her name is Briana Jones. And we're going to talk to her about her why of getting into sports journalism and also some get to know you questions. So without any further ado, I introduce to you the wonderful, talented, and the beautiful Briana. All right.
Hello.
Hello, Briana. How we doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very good. It's a pleasure to see you. Pleasure to see you look lovely tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I just want to say thank you first off for hopping on my podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder. And I want to ask you, how was your weekend and how's your Monday going?
It's all been good. Had a busy weekend. Mom got married.
Oh,
So I've been,
congratulations.
yeah, going crazy with reception, planning a wedding, getting ready. So today, I came back home and I've just been chilling, honestly. Finally trying
I,
to rest a little bit.
I understand that. Okay. And congratulations to your mom for getting married. No doubt about it. That's awesome news to hear for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I want to reiterate to you before I start peppering you with all these questions on why I wanted to have you on here. And that's because you are a sports director, you're a journalist that works at a station. And I'm a sport journalist that is freelance, but I've worked at multiple different publications covering sports from high school, college, and professional. And I love talking to different people in media. I love talking to people about their whys. Everybody's story is unique about how they've gotten into this business. And I feel like your story is just as special as anyone else's, right? We're so used to getting the stories, Brianna, that we don't have a chance to sit down and, and talk like this and be able to get to know each other, but also get to know your story. Because again, like I said, everybody's path is different. And
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to talk to you on here. And I really do appreciate you allocating your time. My first question to you is the same as it always is with everybody on here, and that is, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Did you have any role models, any inspirations growing up? Why did you ultimately get into sports journalism?
Well, I will tell you, um, as of April 9th, I'm not a sports director anymore. Um,
Mm,
so that I was like, let me throw that piece in there so you'll know.
okay.
I'm actually not with the station anymore, and I know eventually we'll talk about what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But why I got into it, I just had a real passion for sports because I played sports, and it
Okay.
was really my mom who suggested I get into broadcast because I've always been the public speaker, talk up for someone, talk at an event, talking in church.
Mm.
Always been very vocal and never shy from a camera or people. And my mom was just like, I think you should consider it. And I ended up taking a personality test in high school, and it said that communication was the best thing for me. And so when I toured my college, which is Troy University, they had an
Yep.
amazing broadcast program. So if I wasn't serious about it before, when I saw what they had to offer for me and how I could be on live television at the age of 18, I was like, yeah, sign me up. So I combined that with my love for sports, and that's sort of how I got into it.
I love that. Now, are you an Alabama native?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So how do you say the city? Is it Dothan? Is that how you say it?
Dothan. Dothan.
Dothan. Dothan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got
Yeah.
you. So we talked. Well, you mentioned it. You got your undergrad and your master's from the same university. I can relate to that because I went to Kennesaw State University down there in Atlanta, Georgia, and I too
Okay.
got my undergrad and master's at the same school as well. Um, Talk to me about Troy University. Was there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going to Troy University?
I'll be honest, I had never heard about Troy until my mom
Hmm.
made me go on a visit there. I was actually dead set on going to Auburn. I was going to Auburn. I was going to major in business administration. I had no idea what I was going to do. I just knew that I needed a desk job and some find a way to make some kind of money. My mom was working insurance. And so in my mind, I was like, I'm just gonna go to what she's doing. She didn't have to have a degree to start there. She ended up getting her degree and her master's after, but I kind of just mimicked what she was doing. I didn't know what I wanted to do at the time. So I remember in elementary school, it was always, I'm gonna be a lawyer because you were reaching for the heights, but until it narrowed down by the time I got to middle school and high school, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. That's not me.
Right.
But I just need a business job. So I was actually super set on going to Auburn or UAH, which is in Huntsville. Um, Toured there as well. I toured Alabama. Um, but Auburn was going to be my, and I also toured AUM, Auburn Montgomery.
Okay.
My mama she just booked it, and I went and I fell in love. The moment I stepped on the campus, I don't know what it was. I fell in love with it, and I told her there, like, yeah, this is the school I'm going to.
Okay, I like that. That's what's up. I really like that, Brianna. I want to ask you some favorite questions. You just give me the 411 off the rip based upon these favorite questions, and we'll keep it rolling. So here we go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
This is so basic. Alfredo.
I
I'm
love
vegan,
that.
so it's vegan Alfredo, but Alfredo.
Okay, Alfredo's good. Oh yeah, definitely. Do you put the sauce on it?
Yes,
Okay.
have to.
I might have to make a pit stop when I'm down there in Georgia visiting family. I'm saying Alabama just right
Yeah,
up the road. Now I'm just
yeah.
saying, okay, that's what's up. I like that. I'm a huge taco person. So
Okay.
I try to now I try to eat healthier as possible because I remember telling you that I was in the hospital for a little bit.
Yeah,
But yeah, definitely a lot more healthier now. So definitely turkey lean or
yeah.
steak, something like that. You know, good protein. I like with my tacos.
I got you.
Second question I have is favorite concert that you've ever attended.
J. Cole when
Mm,
he did For Your Eyes Only tour in Birmingham.
okay.
Yeah.
Now hold on. Was that the one where he had the four people with him? Like, was that the one where he had people opening for him, or it was just
Yeah,
him on?
Ari Lennox was one of the openers.
Yep.
Yeah. I can't remember
Okay.
exactly how many because this might have been like 2018, somewhere in
Yeah.
there. But I know Ari. That's how I was introduced to Ari Lennox was her opening for him that specific tour.
No doubt. Black Men Don't Cheat is one of my songs that I like of hers for sure. I think that was her and Six Lack for sure. I have you ever been to Dreamville? Have you ever been to his Dreamville festival, J. Cole?
When I was supposed to go, it was canceled because it was during COVID. I had my tickets.
Mhm.
Me and a college friend of mine were going to Raleigh, and it was canceled. So I did not get to go. And I know they just now wrapped it up. I think they just did the last one. They said. So unfortunately, I didn't get to go.
That's okay. That's all right. You know what? At least you got to see him live. His Dreamville was definitely something different. No question about that. I love the Carolinas for sure. Every time I go there, it's always a fun time. But my favorite concert though is Lil Wayne versus Drake.
Okay, I believe
Yeah,
that would be a good one.
that was definitely my favorite concert for sure. Favorite place, Brianna, that you've ever traveled to?
Hmm, probably Nashville.
Mm,
And I've been out the country before, but I don't think I've been to the right places quite yet out of the country that I would enjoy. So Nashville, I always have an amazing time when I go. That's the city I want to retire in so bad. Um, Nashville, yeah.
Yeah, they don't call it Nash Vegas for no reason.
Mhm.
Fifth and Broadway. If you know about Nashville, Fifth and Broadway is definitely the move. No question
Mhm.
about it. I'm a huge person. Tootsie's is my favorite spot. I don't know if you know
Mm.
about Tootsie's, but
Yeah.
okay, so you do. All right, say less. So you already know what time it is. That's my favorite spot. And the bus. I call it the drinking bus because you pedal and drink at the same time and take a tour around the
Mhm.
city. So yeah, that's my thing. So I
Mhm.
definitely love that. No doubt. Um, I would say Jamaica was my favorite spot.
Okay.
I was blessed enough to go on a cruise last October. My dad set it up for the family on my dad's side of the family. Jamaica was one of our four spots. It was definitely a dope time. So if you ever want to go to Jamaica and you want some pointers and some tips that it's gonna be some good things to see, call on your boy because I definitely can give you that for sure.
What city did you go to? Because I went to Montego Bay, but I didn't like it.
Uh, Trinidad, I think it was Trinidad.
Not Montego Bay, excuse me. We went to Negril. We wanted to go to Montego Bay. My friend's wedding, she had a destination wedding in Negril, and I did not like it at all.
Nah, nah, we didn't go to we did not go to the grill. I think we did go to I think we did go to I'm sorry, that's it Trinidad. We went to Montego Bay. That's the
Yeah,
one.
we landed in Montego Bay, and then a van drove us to Negril. And I think my mom had been to Montego Bay before, and she said she wished we would have stayed there. We would have liked it more. I think it's more to do in Montego Bay than Negril. Negril was literally just water and resorts.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
it's
it. So
definitely
I
more.
didn't enjoy it.
It's a lot more stores. I went into a couple stores, bought me some shirts. So yeah, and definitely they took us to the beach too. And they had a funny way of driving us around. They would be pedaling on these bikes, and and they would pedal us around the city um of Montego Bay, Jamaica. So it was pretty good. Jerk chicken was good too. Rice was good. Everything was good for sure. I'm a sports person. You're a sports person. So this sports question is a two-parter.
Okay.
Favorite sport that you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person? They could be the same sport.
Nah, football to watch on TV, basketball to attend in person.
I'm the same. Same,
Mhm.
same way. But what's your favorite team?
Okay, because I have pro. I really don't have a college team anymore. When I joined journalism, especially for a state I grew up in, it was always Alabama, Auburn growing up. I was an
Yep.
Auburn fan growing up. Now I kind of went for both, and I don't really have a dog in the fight. I root for either one.
Okay.
Pro, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan. I talked about me loving Nashville, so it's a given. Basketball, I am a Chicago Bulls fan.
Okay. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. For me, it'd be the Lakers. I grew up in California, San Diego. We did not have a team, and I was not going to root for the Clippers because they left us in San Diego, so I wasn't going to root for them. And then football is the Chargers. That's where I grew up in San Diego, loving LT. And then my college team was two. So I had the USC Trojans, but I also had the Georgia Bulldogs. And that's because
Okay.
that's because of my time in Atlanta, Georgia. Going to Sanford Stadium, seeing the games was just incredible. Had a chance to go to Tuscaloosa as well, and Jordan Hare, which is the names of the Alabama and Auburn stadium. So I had a chance to go there too. There's
Let
nothing
me tell
like.
you a tip though, because
Go
a lot
ahead.
of people don't know. It's actually called Jordan hair.
Hmm.
People don't know that. It's not Jordan hair, it's Jordan hair. And I
Jordan
did
Hare.
not learn that until I took my first news job in Huntsville.
Wow,
A
Jordan Hare.
diehard Auburn fan told me it is Jordan hair.
Jordan Hare. Okay. I
Yep.
was there when they played Georgia and they had the infamous 4th and 18 play.
Oh
Where it
my
was the
gosh.
bobble. Do you remember that? The bobble of the
Oh
cat?
my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the game I went to. I was like,
Wow.
oh wow. Yeah. I was destroyed. I was destroyed. But it's good times. That's SEC football, the best
Yeah,
football in the country. So I love that.
I agree.
Last of the favorites. Favorite restaurant that you like to eat at? I'm a huge foodie, Brianna.
Olive Garden. And
Mm.
that would give it away because I said Alfredo is my favorite thing and I cook it a lot, but like I just love Italian food. and the easy accessible restaurant that served Italian food in my state is Olive Garden. You have a few that are maybe different or like authentic to that city, but like growing up in Birmingham, we just ate Olive Garden. So that's still my favorite.
Yeah, I like the five cheese ziti. I like ziti. So anybody that's making ziti, I love that. So I'm a
Okay.
huge Italian food person. Mexican food is probably my favorite, but a second close would be Italian. So that's true.
Got it.
No doubt. Okay, I'm with you on that. Let's talk about your day-to-day operations of what you're doing now and how you transitioned out of the sports director role as of a couple months ago. I would love to know what you're doing now. I would love to know what led to that transition as well.
Well, first and foremost, it was not my decision. It was definitely a heartbreaking thing, something that
Yeah.
I feel like I had worked for
Yeah.
so long. My company has scaled back on local sports since I was in college. When Raycom bought out the company it is now, things just started changing a little bit with sports and they wanted to scale back, which I understand.
Sure.
So kind of coming in, I didn't know what to expect anyway, but I fought for it and I pushed. And I left Huntsville to come down here to get my first full-time sports role. Because in Huntsville, I would be able to do a story here or there, shoot a couple games, but my primary role was producer there. So coming here, finally had my first full-time on-air role and absolutely enjoyed it. Became sports director in 6 months. Just thrived. Had a great time.
Right.
After some leadership changes and some direction, moves. I think every news director I've had three since I've been here, and they all had a different
Wow.
vision for the station. And so the
Wow.
last one probably didn't emphasize sports as much. And so combining that with my contract ending, it was more of a let's
Business
just do
decision.
this. Yeah, it was all the management team's decision to say let's not do this. They're going to scale back anyway. So I wish I could go into more about why the decision was made. I don't really know. I just know like what was happening prior to that. I went from having a two-team sports department to having one, to when 9 people got laid off in November, I couldn't do sports every day. So I used to anchor the 6, 6:30, and 10. Then it went to the 6 and 10. Then it went
Wow.
to you only see me on air if I'm doing a big sports story. So just it gradually faded away. And I think my naive mind, it was like, oh no, it'll be fine. I'll still get to do it. They stopped me from going to SEC games. I could only go to Troy games. So it's like stuff started slowly falling down, but I still was just like, oh, I'm not ready to leave and I love it here. And
Right.
so yeah, that with my contract ending, it was just they decided this was best. I kind of took it for what it was. So thankfully, this station did help me with a lot of connections, and I was able to accept a job as a broadcast and film production teacher in the fall at Enterprise High School. It's a 7A school, amazing athletic program, amazing academic program,
Okay,
just
man.
by Fort Novasdale. So like, I don't know how much people have heard about Enterprise because I didn't know much about it until I actually lived here.
Hmm.
Um, but a bunch of top recruits just came out. I think it was 4 of them. Got an Ohio State kid, an Auburn kid, Kentucky kid. One is going to Murray State now. So got a couple Alabama State kids. So a great program. I just connected with them through journalism, interviews, and all that. And so they
Absolutely.
remembered, and I started calling around when everything happened because I had 2 weeks to find a job. And I had nothing going on. I mean, Dothan is really small. It's a small market, so we're not making a ton of money. So I was
Right.
just trying to figure it out, and fortunately, that was available for me. Now, day to day, I wasn't able to find a summer job, unfortunately. So I kind of just went back home for a while. I actually got back today to Dothan just to check on things, and I'm going to a training session with my school, but nothing. I rest and I do my podcast. That's about it. I rest and do my podcast. I support my friends, because I think for me, God probably just wanted me to take this time to rest for a reason. So I've been able to
Absolutely.
catch up with my friends, catch up with family, and I've just been resting. So that's it until the fall. Now in the fall, I may tell you a whole different ball game is going on.
Absolutely. No, no doubt. I like that. I like to hear that. Sometimes you got to take a couple steps back in order to take 3 steps forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, and the Lord knows that you've been going. Sounds like you've been going like 120 miles per hour,
for
and
sure.
sometimes you got to peel back and get to the speed limit. So,
Yep.
no doubt, no doubt. I want to ask you about mental health though, because I want to ask you about, is your how is your mental health going? Because sometimes, when you do have that unfortunate situation happen at a station, sometimes it could affect certain people, being out of work, or not doing something on a full time basis, or something that's inconsistent. You working here, not working here, it can affect the mental health. And when people are going 120 miles per hour, sometimes they burn out, right?
Mhm.
So I want to ask you, how do you keep your mental health strong, but also still have that work-life balance? Because Brianna, you seem like a wonderful woman to be around. There's no question about it. I certainly
Thank you.
wouldn't mind being around you, and I'm sure you have plenty of friends that will say the same thing. So tell me, how do you balance that and also keep your mental health strong?
It was really tough accepting the decision. Me and my friends jokingly came together and wrote out the 5 stages of grief, because that's what I went through. I
Mhm.
definitely poured my entire life, which I didn't know at the time when I was young, that me, doing the announcements at school, or being the spokesperson for my school would lead into this. So basically, I've always done something. My speeches at church, I've always poured into something that would get me to this point. I've always been around something that got me to this point. So it
Mhm.
definitely was a form of grief where I just felt heartbroken, betrayed by the people who I thought looked out for me. It was a very difficult situation. I had to lean into my faith though. I am a PK, so I grew up in a Christian household. I grew up with a dad who has always centered every decision we've made around God and what He wants is best for me. And then I had to pour into myself as well. Just doing stuff for me sometimes. Like I said, I went back home, but before that time, I just stayed in this house some days. Some days I wouldn't go anywhere. I
Right.
just masked in me and still got up and put on something cute to just go take the trash out. Like it sounds so silly, but it was like for the first time, I'm not on somebody else's dime all the time. I'm not being pulled and torn, and you have this story idea set, and then your boss says, nope, go do this. My mind was just finally focused on one thing, and that was myself and God. And it was like, or two things I would say, and I could finally just enjoy that. And that's what I've been doing still, because I still have time. And I think he made it where I didn't find a summer job on purpose, where it was like you have to focus on you, my prayer life, every other thing that's going on with me. So I'm so glad you asked this question, because I think I want us to continue the conversation around mental health. My journey has been crazy. I've gone through depression. I've gone,
Right.
it's an up and down thing with life. I think at some point everyone probably experiences it, but the way I got myself out was pouring into me. That's the best way. Pouring into God and pouring into me got me out of it. And I had to have the realization that, this is we say a detour. I
Yeah.
told my bosses when they hired me, like, hey, I don't want to be out of journalism forever. I still want to be a sports reporter one day. I want to go
Yeah.
back to doing it because I didn't work all that time for nothing. I told my mentor the same thing. I love it too much to give up. But if I can come here and take a time, however long, for myself teaching, impact some kids and prepare them for what I went through, and so they can be able to avoid it, then that's what I'll do until, I'm ready to get back or God's ready to put me back in it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. It's that pay it forward mentality.
Hmm.
Kind of the reason why I got my master's too, because eventually I definitely want to step into the classroom, and be able to pay it forward to some kids as well. I've done it as a
Yeah.
substitute, so but I love
Same.
that. I love that. And I appreciate your transparency. Appreciate your openness. It's not an easy subject to talk about. But it's also something that we should talk about and more people should talk about, because there's been a lot of colleagues that I know that have dropped out of this industry because of mental health and
Hmm.
their issues of having The work-life balance. The work-life balance is also pretty tough too. I mean, when you're working in journalism, it's journalism's every day and it's 24/7. I mean,
Yep.
especially sports. Sports is nights and weekends. And one of the
Yep.
main things that I had problems with was getting off at midnight trying to find people to hang out on a Tuesday. Like, ain't nobody trying to do that.
Yeah,
People are working business hours, and when you have friends that are in the business hour type of realm of jobs, it's very hard for them to understand what you go through as a journalist. They don't
for
get it.
sure. Yep, I agree.
And you have to link up with people who actually understand the struggle of what you go through. And for me, being in certain spots, when you're kind of the younger version, I mean, I dealt with older people. So people like 50, 55, 60 years old in these different publications that I was working in, writing sports, editing photos, and doing all this stuff. It's like, how can we relate? We can't relate because I'm just not I'm not at that stage. I'm in the grinded mode kind of stage right now. So
Yeah.
I totally understand what you're talking about. So I love the fact that you brought that up.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Um, you're welcome. But it's a great segue as well because I want to ask you about advice. What advice would you give someone that wants to be in this sports journalism industry field?
Have a life outside of your career. If I would have been consistent when I started my podcast the first time, which
Hmm.
is during COVID. When I graduated with my undergrad, I started my podcast then, but I let it fall off because I started working and getting my master's, and I just stopped pouring into myself outside of what I wanted to be. I say that because if you get into a situation like I was in where an unexpected it happens, there are the guys that I mentioned, or the group that I mentioned that was laid off back in November. Some of them had not been here a year. So I had a couple more years on them with experience where I may have a couple connections that could possibly get me a job. But what if you don't? If you have a
Right.
life outside of this and a brand outside of your career, you may have a little more cushion to fall off on. If you want to do journalism specifically, we just gonna say it. You got to be active on social media. You have to be active on platforms. You have to go to engagements. You have to be connected. You have to network. People should know you. Even if I don't know you, I should feel like I know you because you're I'm not gonna get into followers or anything. It doesn't have to be that. It's just more so you're reaching your impact. So outside of a company or organization working with you, you have your own brand. That's the best advice I could give someone is you can start that in high school. If you're in
Yep.
high school and you're already going to events and being known in the community for whatever it is, getting on boards, getting on things, like if I could go back, I would do it all over again and just be way more active. Because at the time, yeah, we're kids, we're lazy, we're not thinking about it, we just want to hang out. No, you can do that too. But squeeze in
Right.
that time to get involved, to get known, to make connections, so that if something happens, and like I said, local news is changing, if they cut your sports department and you don't get that ESPN job, because it's very difficult, maybe there's another avenue that somebody knows you, like my bosses just knew me from having a conversation with them. You want another avenue to be able to go into and be okay with change. Be okay
Right.
that ESPN is not going to come knocking just because you've been in the business 10 years. It's not that easy.
It's not. It really isn't. I've been doing this for about 7 years with a combination of Atlanta, Georgia, and also here in Minnesota. Like I said, working with different publications, working with ESPN production, just networking and building my network and community as well. You're absolutely right. It's not just about what you have, right, with the
Mhm.
degrees and master degrees and things that you do with there, but it's also about who you know. And the
Yep.
best thing about who you know is that you do got to go to some of these engagements, some of these games, some of these conferences. I'm an NABJ member, and I plan on going to
Same.
NABJ next in August, which is going to be in Cleveland this year. So I plan
Hmm.
on going to that. That's another way to be able to do that. I went to Podcast Fest this past January, passed out business cards to different podcasters, and I wanted to network like that. You definitely have to build your network and your brand and have something to fall back on because a lot of these companies are downsizing
Yep.
and they are cutting back. So I love that type of advice. that you just gave, and it's very, very imperative that people listen to that for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
We are now at the point of the podcast to where we're going to play my interactive game called This or That. So,
Okay.
Brianna, what this is I'm going to throw a couple things at you, and you get to choose this or that. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. If you had to choose between two of these restaurants, which restaurant would you rather go eat at, KFC or Popeyes?
Popeyes.
Excuse me, Popeyes. Okay, I like that. On a chicken wing, which flavor would you rather put on, barbecue or lemon pepper?
Barbecue.
Do you like your wings wet or dry?
I don't eat meat anymore, but it's only been 8 years. So I mean I still know the taste of chicken and all that. At the
Mhm.
time I like them wet.
Okay. Now, at that time, did you like them bone in or boneless?
Boneless. That sounds crazy because people look at me crazy when I say it. I do not like bone. Mm-mm.
So you like more meat?
Yeah, I would have had to
Oh,
be really, really hungry to eat a chicken wing.
okay, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I like them boneless too, but I do not eat them with the fork. Sorry, I get a little messy.
I
That's
gotta
just
eat
what I
them with a
like to do.
fork. I don't like stuff being in my fingernails. So
I feel that. I feel that. And I can respect it. I just get a wet wipe and go to work because that's just the way I like to do it.
smart man.
Let me ask you this. Since you're a huge, I would say Alabama gal, which player do you revere more? Is Charles Barkley or Bo Jackson?
Probably Charles because he's from closer to home.
Okay.
So he's from Leeds, and Leeds is probably truly 20, 30 minutes from Birmingham, and specifically from my high school, less than that. I went to Pensacola Valley. Leeds is maybe I would say maybe 20 minutes away. So I
Okay.
think that he was more of a model for me growing up because he's so close. And then he went to like Bo, but went to Auburn, a school that I just loved because my family loved. But Bo is, I mean, right behind him. It's both, but I would just say Charles because I like there are people who I know who might have went to school with him, know his family, so it feels more. He feels more um hometown vibes for me.
Okay. Now, which player do you revere more? Would you say Julio Jones or would you say Devontae Smith?
Probably Devontae.
Okay. You sure?
Yes, because I didn't grow up an Alabama fan.
Mm,
So I didn't get to experience the hype of Julio until like the latter part of his career. So he wasn't like he played for Tennessee. So he was
okay.
kind of coming off of the top wide receiver stage he was in when I was younger. So
Right.
because Devontae is around my age and I've covered him, I can probably connect with him a little better. It doesn't mean I ignore who Julio was by any means, and I know he was great. It's just me not growing up a fan. I didn't single
Sure.
out him as much as everyone else did. I kind of didn't care about what he had going on. Like, oh, he's great. Okay, next. Love me some Derrick Henry, but he also played for Tennessee. So it's a little
He did.
different with them because I'm like, I liked him because of their pro career, not because of the college career, but I like Devontae Smith just all around
Okay.
from college to pro. So
I like it. I like it. That's what's up. Which sport would you rather watch on TV? Baseball or hockey?
hockey.
Ooh, ooh, you paused for that one.
Because they're about equal for me, but probably
Okay.
hockey. I like to see the fights. I won't lie.
Yeah, me too. Me
I
too.
like to see the fights.
Um, which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Badminton. I love badminton. Love it.
Okay.
Like I actually play it now, so love it.
Okay. I'm pretty good myself, Brianna. I'm just saying, I'm pretty good myself.
We'll have to see.
Oh, yes, indeed. I'm with that. I'm with it.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, do you like desserts?
I do.
Okay. So I'm gonna name four categories of desserts. You have to choose one of these that you'll never eat again. Okay,
Okay.
here we go. First one is ice cream. The next one is candy. The third one is cake slash pies, so they're grouped together. And the last one is cookies. Which one are you getting rid of?
Cakes and pies. It's kind of
Okay.
easy for me because I don't eat them as much.
So what's your favorite cookie?
Probably Domino's. They're like the chocolate with the white chocolate chips.
Mm.
Yeah, been my favorite since college. So
I am a huge grandma cookies, vanilla grandma cookies person.
yeah, grew up
But
eating
also,
those.
yeah, absolutely. But I also like gingerbread too.
Okay.
Huge gingerbread cookie person as well. So yeah, that's me. I feel you on that. Do you like potato chips?
Yeah, I'll eat them when I'm hungry, but they're not like my go-to snack.
I feel that. Now it's the same format. Same
Okay.
format. I'm gonna name four brands. You got to choose one of these that got to go. Okay.
Okay.
So first one is Pringles. The second one is Lay's. The third one is Ruffles. The last one is Doritos. Which one are you getting rid of?
Pringles.
That's
I used to
that's
eat Pringles in like middle school, but now like I wouldn't pick them up at all.
that is a typical answer for like everybody that's been on here. They normally choose Pringles. There's been a couple people that chose Ruffles. I was like, you must be out your mind.
No,
Ain't
the
no way.
plain Ruffles, I'll tear them up. Like they're real salty and good. And the cheese ones, when I did eat cheese, the cheese ones were really good. So I'm like, no, if I had to just get rid of them, it's like I don't. There's not a flavor I can think of Pringles that I'm gonna eat.
I feel that. Sour cream and cheddar is my favorite. Ruffles chip is also my favorite chip. No question about that. So I love that. These last five for this or that have to do with music concerts you rather attend.
Okay,
So here's the first one. Which music concert would you rather go to, Beyonce or Rihanna?
Brianna, 100%.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm with you on that. Which music concert would you rather go to, her or SZA?
Her,
You sure?
yeah,
Okay. Okay. I'm with you on that. Which music concert would you rather go see, Alicia Keys or Khalid?
Alicia Keys.
You are very definitive. I like that. Which music concert would you rather go see, Chris Brown or Usher?
Oh no! Oh no! No! No!
I knew we were gonna run into a tough one
Oh
sooner or later.
man,
I knew it.
Usher, Usher,
Mm,
but it's close, but Usher, I love
Usher.
Usher. Yeah,
Listen, Breezy. Oh man, that's probably the one we're gonna have to disagree on. I love Usher, but I gotta go see my man Breezy.
I want to
Breezy,
see both. Oh,
you right, you right. Both
but
will
I
be the
love
case.
Usher. It's just the man. He just got some songs that
Oh
just
yeah,
get me, and Chris does too. But like, it's probably Usher for me though. It's timeless for both of them. But I
it
think
is.
that Usher being his age, still with the aura that he has, it's like why I would love to see him over Chris, but I would want to see Chris like an hour later. Like it's that bad.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. Last one of the concerts. Which concert are you going to? Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Drake. And I've seen Kendrick Lamar in concert before and didn't really care for him in concert.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why my answer is based on that. And I also grew up as a Drake fan before everybody come for me. I don't like the Drake he is now. So I'll say that. I definitely don't really care for his music the way I used to. He's probably not an artist I'm just gonna turn on. I still got a lot of Drake. And I have an immensible amount of respect for Kendrick
Yeah.
and the way he fights for our community, the way he stands up. Like, absolutely adore him as well. But I didn't care for him in concert. I care for like a long car ride listening to Kendrick versus seeing him in concert because he's not really that much of a turn up guy. Drake gonna
Mm.
do something crazy, give you a show, laugh. Like he's that guy because they're so different. So that's why their beef is so weird to me because Drake is a singer and a rapper and like the pop star. He's so much in one that I think he's probably better entertaining than Kendrick is, just giving you the, cutthroat vibe. So Drake.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I love the Take Care album
Oh
from
yeah.
Drake. That's probably my favorite of his. I would definitely choose Kendrick Lamar at this time though, because
Yeah.
he just better lyrically right now than what Drake
Yeah.
is.
Agreed.
You did pretty good on this or that, Bree. You did pretty good.
Thanks.
I like it. You welcome. You welcome. I got a top four question for you, and this top four question is: give me a top four of events that you would like to cover in your journalistic career, and I'll give you an example of the four that I would do. So my
Okay.
four would be in no particular order: the Olympics, a national championship game, whether it's football or basketball, the NBA Finals, and the WNBA All Star Game. Talk
Okay.
about what four events would you like to do?
I love that. The final NBA finals was actually number one for me.
Okay.
Um, Number two would be the BET Awards.
Okay. I can see you doing that red carpet. I can see you doing that.
Number three would be the ESPYS.
Mm.
Um, let's see. And then number four, ugh, I covered the SEC championship, but I would love to do it again. Because I covered Alabama and Georgia when they played in Atlanta. But I'll say a national championship, maybe because I got to do that. But it's a strong, like, those could be interchangeable for me because SEC championship is so close to home for me because I grew up with SEC teams around. So I would love to do that, but I've done it before. So I'm going to say a national championship football.
Okay. I know last year it was in Atlanta for sure. This year
Yeah.
it's in Miami. So who knows? You could be down there at some point doing your thing for sure. I want to ask this next question, and that is, what advice uh has someone gave you that you hold on dearly to?
My favorite thing from one of my mentors, Fred Davenport, who got out the business a couple years ago, but is still in communications. He always told me to know your information, not to memorize it. That is the
Okay.
best thing that's been for me when it comes to my craft, my work, is that I can't get on a podcast, I can't get on an interview, an anchor desk, whatever it is, memorizing something someone told me or something I saw on Google or something I read. I need to know it because when you know it, you feel more confident.
Mm, that's some great advice right there. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. And who was the person that told you that again?
Fred Davenport. He was a
Right.
longtime journalist, excuse me, in Birmingham.
Okay.
Grew up in Huntsville. He was there for many years, and he works for a school system now in Birmingham. He got out the business a couple years ago.
I love that. Okay, I appreciate that. No, shout out to Fred for sure.
Mhm.
This has been a really, really dope conversation, Brianna. Just learning about your background of growing up in Alabama, learning about you at your time at Troy University, honing your skills, learning your skills, eventually going off and being a sports director, and then eventually transitioning now to what's going to be the next chapter. And I'm looking forward to what the next chapter is going to be for you.
Thank you.
I really, really would love to obviously keep in contact with you. I think you're amazing. We got a lot of similarities for sure. And it's just great to always network with passionate people that have a passion for journalism and storytelling, which is definitely what you have. Um, my last question to you is there anything else you would like to add about you, the job, or anything at all before we conclude?
No, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm open to freelancing opportunities. I would love to do it honestly because I'm so excited about this teaching role. Thank you so much for reaching out to me and wanting me to be on your podcast. I do not take that lightly when people want me on. I don't care how big, how small your career is. It's always an honor to speak with other journalism minds and just collab. So thank you so much for having me on. And that's it.
Absolutely. I love that. And before I let you go, you talked about I want you to get your podcast. What is your podcast? What's the name of it? Where people can check it out? What type of podcast is it? How many times you do it? Talk about your podcast.
Yes, so I just launched Life of Bree at the beginning of this month. It's just a revamped podcast, but I don't have a set topic anymore. My podcasts in the past have always been about sports. Granted,
Yeah.
you probably will hear me talk about sports more than anything because I'm just a sports fanatic.
Yep.
But it airs every Monday. It's on YouTube, and I just have different stages of life that we discuss. So, episode one was, I can't even remember now. I think episode two was life of a PK. I don't even remember. Oh, life of a teenager, and life of a PK, and the episode that drops tonight is life of a high school athlete. So there's always just different stages of life that we talk about on there, and I just bring on different guests. So, yep, you can find it on YouTube.
Okay, I love that. And obviously, if at any time that you want me to hop on yours and support yours, I certainly will do that. No doubt about it. I appreciate you coming on to my podcast, though. And I want you to take care. Have a wonderful Monday night. And you and I would definitely be in touch.
For sure. Thank you so much again. Have a good night.
You too.